Heart talk is the way up. Heart talk is the way up. Heart talk is the way up. Looking upon the heart. Oh, yeah, I'm just practicing my little theme song there for my new book, Looking Upon the Heart. I believe that heart talk is the way up. If we would look upon the heart, where Jesus is supposed to live, we can become renewed each moment. We're going to continue our talks on heart morphology. My name is Pete Carlson from Carlson Counseling, and we're going into another phase of our talks, having to do now with the hard heart disposition. Previously, we spoke of the broken heart disposition, where people can't really help it. The hard heart disposition we morph into when we can help it. We deliberately kind of go against the grain. So welcome. This is like our 29th show, and today we're switching from the broken heart to the other dysfunctional disposition of the heart, the hard heart. The scriptures refer to the hard heart quite often. Hebrews 3, 10 through 15, and Hebrews 4, it says, I was angry with that generation and said, they always go astray in their heart, and they have not known my ways. Beware, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living God. But exhort one another while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your heart as in rebellion. The hard heart disposition is a willful and deliberate disposition, a disposition of deliberate sin and willful behavior, which could be altered, but only if we make the choice to do differently. The only thing we have control over in life is what we think and what we say and what we pray. We can't even control our emotions or our behavior unless we think about it, what we're going to do. Otherwise, we go on automatic thoughts, which come from activating events in our environment, in our life situation. We have to think about it. If we don't, it goes automatically to what we behave and what we feel. So we have to take captive every thought. In the hard heart disposition, there's a deliberate choice of thoughts which are, well, not of God, not healthy, not productive. The hard heart, on the contrary, is distinguished from the broken heart because of its manifestation out of willful defiance. The thoughts are defiant. Exercising free will, and when we do, we have made a deliberate choice to think, talk, and behave one way or another, and perhaps contrary to moral righteousness and mental health. Mental health is a psychological concept. Righteousness spiritually is a spiritual concept. In the hard heart disposition, there's a defensiveness, a self-willfulness, stubbornness, and a refusal to give up some part of our life. Oftentimes we hang on to that which is unhealthy, and it needs to be cut free from, like a cancer. Deliberate resistance to doing what we ought to do or what we are directed to do by others in authority, including God. In the hard heart, there's a refusal to change in specific ways and to rather do as we please. There's an unwillingness to abandon our usual mode of operating in a self-serving manner and to surrender ourselves to the Lord and being abandoned to God. Well, we're choosing to stay stuck in the hard heart disposition because we want to. Our hard heart disposition causes us to ignore the fact that surrendering to God is the ultimate solution to becoming unstuck from the hard heart character states and personality styles that we're going to be talking about. We remain in one way or another stubborn, rebellious, and unwilling to accept and obey the truth, operating in a self-willed way instead of operating in a God-willed way. It might be debatable and a very difficult thing to judge whether we can actually help it or not. At the moment of morphing into the hard heart disposition, usually we have no recognition of our hardness and deny that we are or have been deliberately doing wrong. God only knows what is in the hard heart of man. In John 2:23-25, it says, "Many believed in his name when they saw the signs which he did. But Jesus did not commit himself to them because he knew men. And he had no need that anyone should testify of man, for he knew what was in man." Oftentimes there is a combination of broken heart and hard heart disposition present at the same time. Many hard-hearted dispositions are being acted out because underneath there's a broken heart, which is being denied, covered up, and or compensated for by acting all hard. Well, some of the possible symptoms of the hard heart disposition, psychological symptoms, are defensiveness, closed-mindedness, violating people's boundaries, which is very insensitive to other people's feelings and needs, being sneaky, having ulterior motives, which is manipulative, head games that are being played, which is where there's two messages, one on the surface and one underneath. The symptom of bias and prejudice, where there's favoritism toward one group of people or one person or another. In the hard heart disposition, there's maybe a lot of anger. If you hang on to anger, it turns into resentfulness. If you hang on to resentfulness, it turns into bitterness, which is the epitome of the hard heart disposition. And you may defend yourself by being all bitter and hard-hearted, and it blocks the flow of the evil or the things that you detest as evil, as the truth maybe is evil to the hard-hearted person. But it also blocks the flow of love and truth out when you get hardened. There is a general narcissism which seems to be an epidemic in our society. So many people are self-righteous and self-absorbed. Narcissism is from a Greek mythological character who looked at himself in the pond one day and saw himself and said, "Wow, I want to do this every day." And so he spent the rest of his life looking at himself. Thus the word narcissism is very self-centered. Another part of the hard heart disposition symptomatology is the stubbornness, the rigidness, and the egotistical selfishness, rebelliousness. Many times there's substance abuse. The way that people try to gain control is by going out of control. Domestic violence is where one family member tries to control another, either by physical means or psychological or verbal abuse. Dysfunctional childhood experiences are often the reason for the development of the hard heart. Divorce, there's been unfaithfulness, a lot of argumentativeness, blaming, and that sort of thing. Disruptive family upbringing. And the symptom that results often is a resistance to others, maybe not trusting others, resistant to helpers. Problems with authority figures. If you haven't had role models that you really admired, you just may not respect people in authority, like the lawgivers, the policemen, the parents, the teachers, people that are in charge of us. There's a having to be in control. Very common that people are very controlling as a way of being hard-hearted. Not apologizing, not admitting problems. And deep inside, like we say, there's hidden inferiority feelings, which is kind of the brokenness underneath the hard-heartedness. And that's compensated for with bossiness, bullying. Sometimes people turn into racists, racism, showing favoritism, getting in cliques, becoming abusive. And hard-hearted people tend to not have a conscience about things and abandon others and become law-breaking, stealing and taking advantage of others, maybe patronizing and placating others to try and get away with something, manipulating others towards one's own gain. And there's also the kind of hard-heartedness where there's a stirring up of trouble. There's a rebelliousness. There's a wanting to gossip about others and slander others and stabbing them in the back with vicious rumors. And the hard-hearted person tends to be arrogant and pretending to be someone that he is not. And lying, maybe wearing a mask of pretense, of false bravado. And also terrible symptom is apathy, just not caring. There's an absence of love. So we're going to talk about the hard heart disposition for a while. It's a little bit of a bummer. But I know that as we discover our dysfunctional attributes, we just may become open to discovering how we can be transformed instantaneously, spontaneously, and continuously at any particular moment in real time. The heart is that part of us that is in the now. And we can make a choice to think a new thought and be transformed out of the hard heart disposition. But first we have to take a good look at what's wrong with our thinking. We have stinking thinking, things that are just not right, ways that we should think that needs to be changed. So we're going to look forward to that. That's all for now. Thank you for watching this show. Next time we're going to research the content and functioning of this hard heart. Until then, heart talk is the way up. Heart talk is the way up. Heart talk is the way up. Looking upon the heart. So long for now. I better stick to playing trumpet. I don't know about that singing thing. Have a great day. God bless you.